So at this point, I spent like the past half hour rehearsing what I want to try to say for the video, and I've just completely given up on the script. So I'm going to improv the whole thing. This is going to be the first of a few videos I make on how to be good at death sentence. This part is going to be how to do builds at a basic level. All right, the first step, and it's kind of important, you got to stop playing John Wick. The moment you switch to any other character, you will instantly notice like a double in your performance. So switch sooner rather than later. And next up is the weapons. There is no single best weapon in this game if they removed the R700, but there are still many good choices to choose from, so I'll go into that. For assault rifles, most assault rifles in this game are very good, with the best of them being the Lion's Roar and the Rodion 3B. For shotguns, for LMGs, all the LMGs in this game are pretty strong, with the exception of the Akron. Sniper rifles, R700, best sniper in the game, unless you're using Berserk, in which case it's the Liebensanger. Akimbo pistols, there's no reason to use Akimbo pistols when they have Akimbo SMGs in the game. For Akimbo SMGs, you're looking at the Krinkov, the CRs, Signature SMGs, and the Tatankas are your best choices. Akimbo shotguns, I don't know who thought this was a good idea to add into the game. For your specials, I'm sorry, same thing with John Wick, you have to stop using the minigun. It's just, it doesn't work. Not even on very hard. And for your secondary weapon. Your secondary should always complement your primary for what it cannot do. Between both of them, you should have good ammo efficiency, crowd control, dozer killing, shield killing, and range. For example, the 5.7 AP pistol is a very good choice for assault rifles, as assault rifles are good ammo efficiency, they have decent crowd control, they can kill dozers and range, but they can't kill shields, which is what the 5.7's for. With sniper rifles, you're looking at the Krinkov because snipers can do everything except kill a dozer well. That's what a high DPS SMG is for. Grenade launchers complement LMGs very well. No, do not touch the rocket launchers. That is how to do collateral damage to your teammates. They will not appreciate that. Shotguns. The reason shotguns are just bad in this game is because of the 5 things I listed, they do none of them. And sniper rifle, don't touch the sniper rifle secondaries. Just use a primary one if you want a sniper rifle. And now for the perk decks, I would highly recommend choosing between one of these 4 perk decks, as these are the 4 strongest perk decks in the game right now. Remember to have it completely maxed out, as the 9th card is very important on all of these perk decks. But just test between them, see which one you prefer. Any of these are good choices. And now for the skills. In Mastermind, Medic is a very good subclass at keeping you and your team alive, with Dr. Bags being very useful, and Inspire being one of the strongest skills in the game. For the controller, having a setup like this is very useful, as it gives you a convert that has 99% damage resistance, which makes for a very good decoy on top of the movement speed and health it gives you. And if you're running a health-based perk deck, having Hostage Taker makes a substantial difference from the passive health regen. If you're running a single fire weapon, you should invest some points into Sharpshooter, especially if it's a sniper rifle, in which case Graze is how you get your crowd control. And now into Enforcer. For Shotgunner, something like this would be useful if shotguns were good. In Tank, there's a lot of different niche little things you can do with Tank, but generally speaking, something like this or this is all you need. Bullseye Basic is a must-have on every single build, with the exception of Stoic. Scavenger Basic is a nice little quality of life, with Scavenger Ace being useful if you have a not so ammo efficient weapon, but you probably should have one, so you don't need to worry about Ammo Specialist too much. Shouldn't bring ammo bags, Dr. Bags are just better, so don't need to worry about any of that. Next in Technician, with Engineer, turrets are basically pea shooters. Don't touch Engineer. In Breacher, if you're using Leech, Hardware Expert Basic is fairly useful, otherwise don't touch Breacher. And in Oppressor, if you're using an automatic weapon, something like this is generally a very good setup, because body expertise is one of the strongest skills in the game. And now in Ghost. I suppose up until this point, I haven't mentioned that this is a guide for Death Sentence Loud instead of Death Sentence Stealth, so you don't need to worry about Shinobi. In Artful Dodger, duck and cover is probably the best 1-point skill in the game, and you can get parkour aced if you like the quality of life, but other than that, you probably shouldn't be touching much of Artful Dodger, as dodge will betray you. And Silent Killer, another very strong subtree, as crits are very strong at killing dozers and cloakers, and generally just increasing the ammo efficiency of all your weapons. With the 5.7 AP pistol being the only pistol you will ever need for Death Sentence, you don't really need to touch Gunslinger much. 9 lives is very useful on Death Sentence as it doubles the amount of lives you have, which increases Doctor Bag efficiency and all that. Going full on Revenant can give you a lot of benefits, most importantly being consequence free when you get downed, but that's a path I'm not going to lead anyone down, so 9 lives is fine. And lastly, in Brawler, Martial Arts, very useful, Bloodthirst Basic, very useful, and Berserker Aced, very nice if you're running Anarchist or other armor-based perk decks, and Frenzy can be quality of life for those armor-based perk decks as well. And for your armor. With your armor, you should always be running the 2-piece suit with the exception of Stoic and a few armor-based perk decks, but generally speaking, 2-piece suit is the best as your armor is going to get one shot anyways, so you might as well get the 5% dodge chance and mostly the movement speed. And for your throwable. If you are using a perk deck that replaces your throwable, use the designated throwable that it gives you. Leech without the Leech Ampule does nothing. If you're not though, the Viper Grenade is the strongest throwable in the game, with concussion grenades also being very good. And Doctor Bags should be what you're bringing as your deployable, with the exception being, you guessed it, Stoic, in which case you'll want first aid kits. And lastly, for your melee, the Ice Pick is the strongest melee in the game, with Electric Brass Knuckles and Buzzer also being very good choices if you like to stun your enemies instead of just damage. So yeah, I hope this helped even a little bit. In my opinion, it is bare minimum, but it should be enough that you can throw something together that is Death Sentence viable. Otherwise, I don't know, I guess subscribe if you don't play John Wick.